they play it right, then you can probably see the tier 1s fall before Virtus Pro can really react to it, because Batrider and Io, they both need a little bit of time. They want to hit the timing windows a little bit later, normally. But once it happens, you obviously have the really good synergy. Batrider initiating, Io bringing anyone else, anyone that they want to pair it up with, into the fight to get a quick pick off and then go from there. And as you said, someone like a Chen, not necessarily good at counterplaying that. Senking a little bit better here if he can line up a good burst strike. So, no draft win just yet for either team, obviously, since we still have 3 picks to go, but I think okay starts for both of these teams. Just really comes down to what these lane matchups are going to end up looking like here, especially as far as the Sanking is concerned.
How easy of a time is it going to be for that Sand King? Most of the time, it's okay, and it's always possible, especially with the Chen. Just get level 2, level 3, get your boots and wind laces, and then just leave the lane if it's really that bad. Just go and be that initial setup for a Chen so that he can land his stomps and claps and whatnot later. The backup plans in this game for Navi, as far as killing heroes, is definitely there with Sand King because of this Chen early game enabler. Really, it's hard to lose the early game when you have this Chen because he just enables so many things for your other heroes, farm space wise, kill wise, just all these alternatives. If shit really is going to hit the fan, but we have to see what this IO is going to actually be partnered up with right now. Usually we see the partner in like the first like 2 picks after the IO. Generally it's like OD or something like that, or Drow just like pure defensively. Haven't really seen many of the kind of older school IO combos like Tiny, but always a possibility.
Yeah, there's just so many ways that you can go with it, so I don't actually remember VP playing IO a whole lot. They mostly ban it actually in a lot of their games instead of picking it up, so yeah, once again, looking to see what they want to do. But anything they pick up, it doesn't really matter in the end, because Ion on itself is a hero that just changes the way that you have to approach the game, just because there's always a global presence of the +2. You can be so much more efficient just farming on one side of the map, pushing one lane out to farm the jungle, while the rest of the team is just setting up somewhere else, and you can always have that +2 once you have that relocate up and running. So for now they're going to go with a Witch Doctor, so that more classic defensive utility synergy there between him and the IO. A lot of heals, a lot of sustain, and if they then pick up some heroes that are good at pushing, then they'll be able to match Navi's aggression in that sense at some point as well.
Navi should be looking at least as much as they can. Lots of focus fire, lots of burst damage. Witch Doctor and Io individually don't do all that much. They're really just enablers for other heroes, Io especially. So Navi have to make sure to handle that one core that Virtus Pro are really going to be trying to roid up and probably stack up a little bit for, just get them mega farmed. Oracle is an okay start at that. The disarm, especially if you're expecting this type of gameplay from VP, going to be an all-star from Navi, and they have quite a bit of sustain on the Navi side, almost the same as for VP, so it could be kind of a mirror draft right now with very few differences. Weaver is going to be the pick for Navi, and VP have a grand total of Cask in order to really deal with him, and even then, it's not that good, so this Weaver is going to be real difficult to deal with because Virtus Pro are looking for cores right now. Core is going to have a really good matchup against Weaver. There aren't that many.
Yeah, that Weaver is a really, really good pick up against everything the Virtus Pro has right now. They basically have to kill him throughout the duration of the lasso, or else he just time-lapses it off. And that's also only easy until he gets a Lincolns, then you have many more things to worry about. So, yeah, in terms of what they can do against it, I guess just tank up. I mean, Witch Doctor and Io on the support side are already going to be easy food. So I think they can't really get away with a squishy 1 position here either. So just have something that can kind of be in the front lines that can just be a threat to the Weaver when he tries to duck in the back lines. I don't know who's actually left. So
kind of has to be Tiny, right? Like,
yeah, that would fit the bill for sure. Wouldn't hate that.
I'm just trying to think of like what other hero they can get away with as far as dedicated IO partners are concerned.
Or CK, I guess. You can always go back to that one.
I'm always down for CK, dude. Like, that's my jam. But I'm not sure if that's realistic, unfortunately.
Phantom Assassin.
Phantom Assassin,
okay.
Can be hit or miss here.
I was Yeah, I was thinking like how can they possibly fit a Faceless Void in here? Just get that non-negotiable Chronosphere and overcharge. They already have the Witch Doctor. If PA mid Faceless Void safe lane isn't really the worst, but Phantom Assassin v Weaver, it's all about hoping to roll those lucky rolls and getting those big crits on the boards. Again, handling the Weaver is going to be tough, but PA usually handles Oracle and Chen pretty darn well.
Yep. Yeah, Void wouldn't be too bad. As I said, they still have room for it. You also have the synergy with the Witch Doctor, but ideally, when you want to run the Void in the one position as opposed to the off lane, you want to have some sort of natural steroids for him, something like an Ogre with the Bloodlust to help him out. Just make sure that he himself can start doing a good amount of damage in the Chronosphere early. But in this game especially here, if you look at Navi's lineup, they're going to be pressuring early, so you don't actually have a lot of time to account for that as a Faceless Void now yourself. So I think they're just gonna try and pick a good mid hero here, Navi having the advantage of having the last pick, so they can react to whatever VP wants to pick up now. But I'm not sure if this is a PA mid game, to be honest, in general.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're going to be picking it into a clear counter pick. Navi can run anything right now from like a Tinker to an Invoker. He's still in the pool as well. Really, like all of the really strong mid laners are still in the pool except for OD. So pretty much no matter what, Navi are going to be getting the favorable matchup in that lane. Is there any like real safe hero they can pick? I mean, Razor for VP, or yeah, I mean that wouldn't have been that good for them. So yeah, just taking that one out of the pool. They're gonna have a rough mid lane, it seems.
Yep.
Doctor can only do so much to help out, and the Chen and Oracle and Navis are gonna be doing a lot more. Dragon Knight pick for Virtus Pro. This is something that Navi can punish just by rotations from the Chen, rotations from the Oracle, or just having Dendi have a good hero versus DK, and that's most heroes.
Yeah, that's probably the best decision that Virtus Pro could have made here in this. This thing gives you push. It's very tanky, as I said, hard to really punish with the rotations. Okay, they're gonna go for the Timbersaw. I was gonna suggest something like an Alchemist. Timbersaw also still to a degree. It's very hard to deal with for VP either. And also another one of these heroes that brings a lot of burst damage to the table, and that Io and the Witch Doctor especially have to really watch out for. So I think these last couple of picks really worked out well in the favor of Navi.
And it's very similar to the Weaver. It's like a hero that demands control, and well, I guess Virtus Pro in their last pick, they do have a Dragon Tail now, so they at least have some sort of stunning action. If they do have a Shadow Blade on the DK or Blink Dagger or any way of getting this jump on the Weaver or Timbersaw, then yeah, the door is now open for them to get those kills. But in the midst of the fights, there are just so many kind of demands for stuns that VP just won't be able to handle all on their own. So yeah, layering their stuns, getting the lasso into Cask, into Dragon Tail perfectly, those type VP, but still, I think if they have an okay early stage, they can just snowball so far forward. And why isn't going on?
Well, it's pause gaming. Kind of standard in Dota. Not sure what you're
there we go. My like alt button or something was mashed down and I didn't notice. So I was just pinging everywhere.
That's not helpful.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna fix up the overlays real fast. We should be good. Alright. He's gonna be playing what? On the Navi side, like it's pretty much business as usual for them. We got General heading up towards the top lane. Nico, classic Oracle play for him. Dendi mid Timber. Styles on his trademark. Chen and Ditcheraz on the Weaver.
To the side of VP, we've got Pasha on that Bad Rider solo on the Witch Doctor, looking to bounce some Cask around. No one on the Dragon Knight mid. Got Ramses taking the PA up to the top lane, and wait, who's that? Lil? That's Lil, yeah.
Yeah.
Too many lines in that name, but he's playing the IO, helping out wherever he's needed most. And that's another thing, right? IO can, unless there's a lot of pressure up top, with his tanking up against a melee hero, that's something that you can expect, but Witch Doctor should be able to handle it on his own by himself. So that frees up the IO to also help on DK mid, kind of try and equalize that matchup a little bit, especially early on, where it can still be sort of effective with some right clicks before the reactive armor really starts stacking up.
Of course, the IO, when he's not needed for that, to give the extra juice towards the DK, Jungle stacking is, well, going to be pretty good for no one. Just to clear out with Breathe Fire, of course, when you get that splash going. Also a definite possibility for him. Alternatively, just wait and give Pasha, who's probably going to be the recipient of it. In this bottom lane, there is going to be a lot of poking and prodding for the Batrider. I don't see him be able to get kills on either the Oracle, definitely not the Weaver, unless the Weaver makes some sort of stupid tower dive action. So yeah, the Batrider is going to have a little bit of difficulty, but that's where the IO comes in, and hopefully for VP's sake, it'll enable Pasha to at least get a little bit of farm in the early game without sacrificing this bottom lane entirely.
There's definitely potential for Batrider to make something happen, but it's gonna be more Navi, just not overextending and keeping an eye on these napalm stacks. Also keeping an eye on the Wisp, as you said. As much as he can help out mid, he can also help out down bottom. And he's also already making his way in here. One thing that I don't think he can do though is contest his Chen in the jungle, which is going to be an issue in the long run. Because a Chen with complete free farm, as we mentioned in drafts, can start turning up the push sooner rather than later.
And this bottom lane for VP now, it is going to be that IO Batrider combo, at least for right now, which is generally pretty dangerous if you have slow immobile safe laners, or at least supports that can't just purge everything off Fortunes and get 100% magic immunity with Fate's Edict. This is not really the best time to have an IO Batrider dual lane. Pure magic damage, and with the Firefly Reliance, it's not going to work out very well. Speaking of not working out very well, no one rooted over towards the mid lane with the net. Troll trying to get in the way. Couple more right clicks, not quite enough. Artstyle taking some tower shots, so they will have to back off DK. He's just tanky enough to escape that one, and that's a pretty big reason why you put DK in the mid lane, so he can survive those type of pen ganks.
Some good bottom logs, unfortunately not good enough. He still had a Fairy Fire to go back to if necessary, so don't think he would have died there. But he's still a fair way away from that bottle. But hey, meanwhile up top, Sand is just the interesting position. Don't have any detection at the ready to deal with him. But he's also way too scared to move out with like 150 health points. Oh, there it is with the salve. That will not actually cancel.
Sandstorm.
Well,
gonna get him to full. Detection is on the ground right now. Sentries are coming, but it's a little bit too late. He's just a little bit too strong. We usually don't even see Sandstorm picked up until like level 8 or something like that. Something really crazy late into the game. But just getting it as an insurance policy against heroes that can't blindly stun out of it. No Lina here. It's going to be a pretty decent way of just guaranteeing his survival, at least for a little bit, or just forcing out a sentry ward. And this is gold that Solo is gonna have to spend, and he's not really getting that much income in order to buy more detection. So already the Sand King 1 point Sandstorm getting him half sentry stack worth of value. It's not bad.
Yeah, he's also still getting his levels here, which is the most important part of the better to Batrider. Is slightly ahead. Pasha now being forced out, that'll exacerbate that a little bit. And the levels is all you can really hope for in this kind of position.
Oh, random Oracle illusions behind the tower are gonna snipe the Dire Courier, which had no one's bottle.
Oh man.
You never really expect that to happen from illusions, but Oracle illusions do have some sick range on them, so the Courier unfortunately not surviving, and now no one is in an even rougher spot. Like, this is already not a great matchup for the DK. He's doing alright so far because he's been able to spam out Breathe Fire, but no more of that. No mana.
Well, might mean that I will have to spend a little bit more time there, but meanwhile bottom here, Pasha has a bug on top of him. Fire behind him, looks like it's gonna be a wash with Lil linking up with him. And it's one of these dangerous situations, right, with the Tira getting some extra levels, having these bugs available, plus the high levels of Shikuchi. You can punish overextensions as easily as he can punish yours when you start stacking up so many napalms, sticky napalms.
Pasha gonna get hit with the Purifying Flames. Couple of napalm stacks. Get him a little bit of distance. Io is gonna grab the rune, get some fresh bottle charge, and he will rejoin his Batrider. Artstyle unfortunately has not the right creeps, and now, whoa, Batrider going in pretty deep harassment damage purposes. Lil in the meantime is getting dove by Ditchera off into the side. One more shot should do it. He's gonna try to tether away, but oh, it's not gonna happen. The damage still goes through, and Ditchera will find himself a very, very easy first blood. Zero armor Io up against a Weaver is pretty good times for said Weaver. So Virtus Pro losing the first blood, and Na'Vi setting their aggressive path off to an okay start as far as farm is concerned on the Weaver. Still, we haven't really seen that much from the Chen, though. I feel like he just hasn't really found that many great creeps. Like, he never really won a Wild Wing.
Actually, only being level 3.5, it's a bit surprising. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You only want the Wild Wing if you already stacked up some camps that you then can AFK farm for a bit. But he's got that as well as the Centaur. He might find an IO just in a very compromising position. There's a little displaced down the wood. Also, we'll see him pass by. But cannot actually get the angle to intercept.
But just by seeing the IO there, Na'Vi can assume that there is an Observer Ward in the area. It's either going to be on the hill where it is right now or just straight up behind the tier 1 tower. And either way, Artstyle is going to back up and pop a smoke. General's Burrow Strike level is level 2. There we go, level 3. So all of their activators are online right now. Burrow Strike onto a Phantom Assassin into 2 stomps should be able to get the kill. Unless she is extremely lucky with those blur rolls. Which, you never know, may happen. But kills here are kind of far away. Solo is a much easier kill, of course, because Witchhawk doesn't have blur, but he sees them coming. Lace, movement speed. Sand King does have some trumps there with the Tickle Boots. Burrow Strike will land pretty far away. Stomp will connect. That's the first one. The second one is available as well. Solo is going to go down, but the PA jumps in. The fast stun bouncing through, locking down Centaur. Will take down the Chen in exchange. No one's going to arrive now. Breathe Fire. It's not going to kill off General because he doesn't have any True Sights. He's still taking a little bit of damage. Burrow Strike back in. Going to end up popping to the Phantom Assassin. Stuck a dagger in there, I believe. Ultimately, it is going to be a 2-2 exchange. The Phantom Assassin, though, getting 2 kills. Not really great for Na'Vi there. Yeah,
that was not the plan that they had. I like the idea from Artstyle, right? As you said, they could probably figured out that there's water somewhere, so he smokes up, utilizing the knowledge that they have vision over there, but just smoking through it here, just giving them a false sense of security in that sense. So I'm just trying to make something happen. Ideally, they wanted to set up for the PA, but the lane wasn't quite in the right position for it. So they turned back to no one. Had to chase him a little bit too much, which gave VP a good chance to counter, to react there. And yeah, 2 kills for PA. You have to really watch out that hero does not get out of control quickly. Already face boots into Blightstones. Now we're looking for a kill again with a Burst Strike. It's still the Centaurs. Nice blink to across the Green Wave. Ramses, top of this game right now in this laning phase.
Almost a perfect read there from Artstyle, knowing that that's really the only way PA gets out of there is if she blink strikes to the north. Setup Centaur there, unfortunately, was like 10 range out or something like that. So not quite enough to get the kill, but still it is PA dealing with this Chen, and Chen is therefore wasting a lot of time, not really doing a hell of a lot versus said PA as far as slowing her down, stopping her from farming. And of course, he's, as you said, kind of under-leveled from Chens. He's making a lot of rotations and getting a couple of assists here and there, but even those kills, I think one of those assists happened like after he died, so it's like, you know, who cares about that if you're Chen? You really want to be there for the full benefit of that kill. But either way, still CS-wise, Na'Vi doing okay. Weaver is having a free time mid lane. The Timbersaw is farming just as much as the DK. Really, do they just need to get this Sand King towards that Blink Dagger mark, right? Get the Chen more levels and just bide their time.
Yep. I mean, the winning mids, as you would expect here with the Timbersaw, is very annoying for DK to deal with. The winning bottom quite handily as well, and despite these deaths and despite these kills on the PA, General's still getting what he needs, right? He got 2 kills of his own. He's got level 6, almost level 7, and he has some Tranquils, so...
But looking at the Timbersaw now, and break to bump it back, he has an Invis rune, but there's dust because the Sand King. Dendi is gonna roast, although Timber Chain off to the side, that's level 2, so the range is quite high. Asha's on his tail, but Dendi is bottling up, and will chain out one more time. Still, the Batrider is right overhead, and they will bring down the Timbersaw. Style in General's rotation, not enough to stop the Dragonite. They're gonna throw a Burst Strike at him, but he just shrugs it off. He doesn't really care about that. Weaver will come in and snipe the IO in the end, so at least it's a 1-for-1, but again, Na'Vi are not winning these trades. They're losing cores and BEP are just losing supports.
Didn't even know you could kill a Timbersaw with 20 stacks of reactive armor on him, but apparently they could, so good on them, and only losing the IO return. That reaction from Na'Vi was a little bit spread out here. DK was kind of fooling them, just tanking the attention from Chen, so didn't actually actively help out Dendi up against the Batrider, which would have probably been the better choice. They tried to hustle there, but hindsight's 2020, I suppose. So as a result, Batrider with a kill to spell gets him closer to the Blink Dagger without even having to occupy the jungle.
May be an okay game to go for Drums, considering this this early game he's had. 1 kill to his name, a high amount of CS, and level 7, 10 minutes in is pretty reasonable for a Batrider, especially since I don't think he's actually gone to the jungle all that much. He has just, you know, back here and there, nothing really huge. So Pasha is having a pretty decent start for Batriders, all things considered. Just needs a couple more levels. That sticky napalm maxed out, more points into Firefly, just get his damaging spells up online, and you know, then we might just see Na'Vi being pushed. They do have pretty good ways of handling that, but VP have a DK and a Batrider, they can force the fight. Solo gonna get caught off in the jungle by Dendi. Fiend's gonna land, but now the backup's coming in, including a dagger. It's gonna crit Natus here as well. As the Firefly, where can he change out to get from this? Dendi not anywhere really. I think he could have maybe gone down to the low ground if that actually worked, but of course it didn't. So another kill on the Timbersaw. And in the meantime, everyone else from Na'Vi pushing over towards the mid lane with that Chen army. General Blow for Burst Strike is ready to fight, but they just can't bring it down fast enough. They have to back up.
Bit of a questionable decision from Denny, but maybe the call was just, hey, we're gonna push mid here, can you create some chaos up top? And I guess he did, right? There were 3 heroes there, but ultimately did not buy enough time for tier 1 mid to go down. And this is still the Schwarzer, right? If you look at him 11 minutes in, he's still not quite level 6 even. I mean, I'm not really up to date on my Chen like benchmarks, so I don't know what's possible exactly, but I do know that this is not what he wanted out of this game, especially with an uncontested jungle. Very, I don't know, not what you would expect. Let's just phrase it that way.
Taking an aggressive move on Ramses. Suddenly an IO pops up. Ramses is not going to die here, although they may just get the easier target in the IO, relocated in the wrong neighborhood. Jen's going to bowl him over with that Satyr Blast, and now the PA is actually in trouble somewhat. General another Burrow Strike. He has it up right now. There is no Troll Trap, but there's an Epicenter. That'll do it. PA is down, and VP getting way too comfortable with the arrival of the IO there. Gonna lose both of them, giving both kills to Artstyle. That's his level 6 right there. So, yeah, all you need is just a handful of kills in these scenarios, and then suddenly you're right back to where you will feel comfortable. Maybe not where you should be. But hey, Chen level 6 is now got the Hand of God, getting tower to his name. Not bad.
Oh, Hazel and Pasha. This could be the issue for Dendi here is right there. The Juggernaut has done too much as Lazo down to low ground until no one can help him. Rob slanted just a little bit more burst. There it is. That was such a lucky move for Pasha to grab it. Immediately in convert now a little bit back on top. Yeah, trying to go for Ditchara. The time to stop someone down, but he's still in trouble. They do see him. They do bring him down with another Dragon's Breath from the low ground. VP.
I was right on the edge of that AoE too. Solo had like a full channel death ward against the Weaver. How do you land a fully channeled death ward against the Weaver with no stuns? I don't know, but Solo was able to make that happen. The time lapse position for the Weaver didn't exactly do him any favors, so there's that. But VP strike back, take 2 kills of their own and a tier 1 tower of their own. So suddenly that gain for Na'Vi up towards top lane is just turned into a wash.
Yep. Well, it was just Slark saying, hey guys, VP, have a haste rune, and they took that gift and took 2 kills and a tower off of it, so they're gonna be very happy about that for sure. Na'Vi, well, it's gonna have to try and refocus. There's still tier 1 to take them for them, which is fairly easy to try and get them back up. But right now, they're also close to the Blink Dagger and Stanking. They has it right now. It only has to have it shipped out, so it's not like they're too far behind in their timings. They just need to make sure to get some vision out and try and find the right situations and get the initiation on them.
If I'm Na'Vi right now, it's not like my concern isn't, oh, we're gonna have a late so-and-so item, because the mechanism is coming on Artstyle, the Blink Dagger's up on Sand King, Weaver's already got a Dragonlance. It's all coming up for them. The fact that they're not slowing down PA. In fact, in trying to slow her down, they're actually accelerating her because she's just killing whoever's coming in to try to gank her. The Batrider's had a free time, the DK already has his armlet, so Na'Vi are not really able to proactively control the game, doing their own thing, and VP are also doing their own thing. In that scenario, you have a Chen, you have a Sand King, like, you don't want to let the enemies do their own thing. That pretty much wastes the entire potential of those heroes, so Na'Vi do want to be the aggressors, not finding as many opportunities. They're thinking about Roche, I think, but they'll settle for a tier 1 tower, but again, it may not be free. No one has an arcane rune. Is that an arcane rune dragon form? That feels pretty good if you're DK. Should be a tower down. Mass PP is coming back in. No one on the front line. Will just relocate to bail him out should he need to. Earth Strike and everything else in the book. He's still surviving. Sand King is in the middle of everything. Not doing a hell of a lot of damage right now. Epicenter's finally being channeled. Flame Break doesn't interrupt it anymore, and it will be Epicenter going off, killing off the DK, killing off the Witch Doctor. They're on to Rams right now. Pasha trying to push them all back with the Firefly, but he runs out of it. Stomp's coming in now as it's right on top of Pasha. They'll grab a triple. Here comes Lil. I'm not really sure what they're trying to do with this IO. They're going to try to rush down the Chen. We'll get him. Brandon's off to the side, is not dead just yet. Lil, though, needs a lot of extra time until his relocate is going to yank it back. Not going to happen. He's going to go down. Ramses is the sole survivor here. Ultimately, 4 for 3. Favor of Navi Ditcherad, though, as well as the Oracle. Getting a lot of cash out of that.
That was exactly the kind of fight Navi wanted to take. Maybe a bit more bloody than they would have wanted here, with Ramses just coming back in and snagging a kill or two. But the basic idea was correct, right? You had caught someone out in front, Sand King with long range stun, blink stun here onto the DK. Rest of VP try and help out, but while all that was happening, Weaver was on the backlines here chipping away, kind of out of reach of the rest of VP. Timbersaw also got a couple of good spells off that hit a couple of heroes, obviously in the choke point, very good place for him to fight. And there was also good false promise here, immediately cancelling out the last that was in general, I believe. So all in all, decent fight there for Navi to take. And they don't save the tower, but they stifle some of that momentum as we're just talking about. Still not on PA, but at the very least on the Dragon Knight. And
jump in, lasso, caught Dendi, and there are so many heroes here. Can't even throw out the chain before he's dead. So yeah, there's an extra one for VP tying up the kill score, and they're gonna go for Roche immediately after. I mean, that top lane fight for Navi was pretty much just like pure textbook, right? Like Weaver in the back, poking and prodding, Chen creeps, and the Timbersaw in front. The classic 5 heroes matching into 5 heroes, and Navi had slightly better positioning there. They were able to bring down no one a lot faster than I really thought. So that is going to work out in their favor. Ditcherad, though, he's going to... Oh, Epicenter onto the bottom end. General doing a lot of damage to Solo, mostly. With the Oracle there, they'll burn him down. False Promise now onto General. Ditcherad taking a lot of splash damage. Will go down to the IO of all heroes. General just took a crit, so I'm pretty sure he's dead. And now they're onto Seneko. Art style is here as well. Seneko's going to grab a double kill before he's going to go down. If he does go down even, they do land Dragon Tail onto the Chen. He's stuck and he's going to go down. Oracle's going to try to teleport out. Crits. Oh, it's just enough damage. Double kill for Ramses. VP end up losing 2, but ultimately they wipe Navi. Now they're going to go right back into the Roche pit. Only Dendi is here to interrupt it, and there's no way to get in very quickly as the Timbersaw walking in, and that's a little bit too late. Now taking Dragon Tail to the dome with the Desolator effect from Ramses doing so much damage. Dendi gets up to the high ground. Not dead just yet, but Ramses is hunting. Yeah, I think he sees him. I think he knows where he's at, but I think Dendi's a little bit too quick. So he lives. VP gets so much, plus Roche, plus Aegis in the future. Big win for the Dire.
If Dendi dies there, it's a question mark moment for sure, but yeah, there was a very, very low chance that he could have done anything there. So just lucky that he's alive. That fight was... To take that fight was a bit ill-advised anyway, considering that it started with a pickup on Timbersaw. Still tried to win in, but it was way too staggered, right? The bugs were already there, like a couple of seconds earlier. VP already got rid of them. To make no mistake, that's a huge damage amplifier for the Weaver, especially on these small squishier heroes. Then at Epicenter, sure, it hits a couple of people, but there was no immediate follow-up. Instead, VP just gets some good AoE burst down, and also the False Promise on general instead of the Weaver. Just trusting in Ditcherad to keep himself alive, which ultimately did not work out as the Eyeball has exploded in space in the end. So, a bit too staggered there for Navi to try and claim that Roshan, so now instead they give up way more than they should have. And VP, well,
this Weaver
Navi basically gave him the finger, but VP is taking the entire hand, and then are getting ready to chop off the arm as well with a tier 2 down here.
The Weaver just picked up now an ultimate orb, so just a little bit of extra stats helping him to not just get insta-burst by random crits and whatnot. Firefly damage adding in there. It is just a big game, just plus 10 strength. That's sometimes all you need. He is still working towards that losing crit, a little safer bow. Pretending to stand through right about now. Lasso is going to grab him in. False Promise is going to bail him out, though. Death Ward Channel in the back. Channel is going to take a full channel from that. They'll lose the Aegis on the PA, but that's exactly what it's for. Ditchra going to drive everyone back on the back end of the fight. They'll burn down the Dragon Knight, and now Solo's isolated. They'll take down the Witch Doctor as well. Ramsey is somehow in the middle of this engagement. Lil's going to yank him out. He'll be just fine, but Lil may not. Pasha's still here. He doesn't have a ton of mana. VP, they lose 2 plus the Aegis, and they're definitely going to lose this third unless this teleportation trick works. It's not quite timed perfectly. We'll lose another hero, Na'Vi, bailing out Dendy with that false promise, and then letting loose with absolutely everything. Ditchra was actually able to right-click heroes in that last fight, and what a difference it makes.
It's such a back and forth here, it's actually crazy to watch, but yeah, it just really shows and really comes down to how you initiate and how you take the fights. Because in this one, initiating on the Timbersaw, still a fairly tanky target, especially with the Oracle right behind him. And then Na'Vi just fighting in the choke point that they wanted, where their spells were actually used in conjunction with each other, right? Ditchra did what he needed to do, just go into the back here, chase off the supports, while the front lines, the Chen and the Oracle was just dealing with the Dragon Knight. PA dying first just gives you still that little bit of a breathing space, these 5 seconds on the respawn to just clean up the rest of the fight in the meantime. So
a lot of these engagements that have been going in favor of VP start off with some random guy getting just blasted in the early stages of that fight. That was Dendy, but the false promise finally came in at a timely manner on a good target as well. So VP, if they get different on, say, this Weaver over towards mid lane, then we're looking at, again, VP controlling these engagements. But if the Oracle's in the right place at the right time, and Scepter, it's a higher chance of him being there, you never know what Na'Vi can do to turn those fights around. Because, you know, once you jump in as the Bat Rider, you're kind of fully committed there. There's no backing out from that. So he has to play around the Lincoln Sphere now. Weaver is now a lot more difficult to kill. Although you can still Blink, Force, pop the Lincolns, and then Lasso, it's much, much slower.
Yep. It's more time for Oracle to react, more time for Weaver to just Shikuchi out or time-lapse or whatnot. So, I don't think that's gonna have, it can be his prime target. I actually think they should just try and go back and find the Oracle, make some sort of wraparound play, but right now they're just, once again, going in head first.
Dragon Knight, BKB this time, Death Ward in the back, being fully channeled once again, no one's on top of Solo, although now Ditchra is there, Solo will disengage, no one is just sitting in place, doing all the damage that VP can possibly want, as well as Ramsey's doing very much so the same. Dragon Tail and Dendy trying to escape, he is joining drop, that's going to give everyone else a big heal. No one's armor toggling away from Ditchra, who's not being controlled at all during this fight, and they'll finally bring down the DK art style. It's a big grip from Ramsey's, with a little bit of help from Lil, they will take down the Chen, and now onto Suneko, a couple of crits, and he's going to try to go Scepter his way out of here. Ditchra is going to try to buy him some space, but that's again not going to happen. Weaver is not being controlled, yes, but he's also not doing enough damage, and then he takes a big crit. Lil's not dead just yet either. Is able to bottle up Ramsey just a little bit more. Dendy trying to catch up to Lil, still not enough damage, 20 HP. The IO should be going down here, and he will, in the end, die. But for VP, that is, I think, slightly beneficial trade for them numerically. It's, 3 for 4. Dendy did respawn pretty quickly because of the Bloodstone charges, but the Phantom Assassin is just going off, and Na'Vi just can't deal with her.
It was still such a close fight, and just goes to show how even this game is in general. If you look at the graphs, it's been hovering more or less around the 0 line here, around the 1 or 2k or a couple of thousand at most. Either team here, Meepo up top, alright, so there's that. Goodbye, friend. But yeah, it's a joy to watch, and that entire fight was almost a carbon copy of the last one, except a few things just didn't quite go right. Firstly, Dragon Knight didn't die quickly, actually miscalculated the Purifying Flames a little bit, so he got helped out between the armor targets and everything. And the IO also was able to relocate out. He didn't pull anyone else with him, but he was able to just recharge himself, recharge bottle. When he came back in, was able to link up again with PA to just enable Ramses a little bit more. So a few things, just tiny differences in how the fights go, just can change the outcome in favor of one team or the other.
And Lil's return to that fight not only gave Ramses that extra gas to keep fighting, also got the IO a little bit of extra cash. So he's looking at a pretty well-timed mechanism for IOs actually. Chen has had his for a long time, but that's Chen. IO kind of rarely even gets the mechanism, and now he's gonna have another chance to save again. Not in time though. Relocate a little bit off the mark. They lose the PA to a little bit too much burst. Everyone is here from VP, or at least everyone else. But this IO VP trick? Oh, it's actually on cooldown. Feather out? I don't think General's gonna let that happen. No, with the Burrow Strike, they'll lose 2 heroes. Navi getting a couple of free picks they barely have to work for, and they have a decent enough group of heroes here that I think they can go for tier 2s. They're actually gonna disengage and let the Sand King return to the base, let Ditchera hold off the mid lane.
Now let's just run this way too far forward here. I mean, sure, I can figure, yeah, the Io is behind me, he's gonna save me, but up against a team with this much burst damage, we saw how that turned out, right? It was very close, don't get me wrong, but these are the kind of mistakes that can add up. And in a game like this, you really cannot afford any of those if you can help it.
Navi find their pick off. That's something that they are going to struggle to do a little bit more than VP. Sand King is pretty good at initiating, that's for sure, but Batrider is a little bit better, mostly because he has that flying vision from that Firefly. So the more often Navi can find those type of openings, the more it's going to favor them in the long run, as vice versa. So they're going to take this opportunity to kind of lock down this top half of the map. Dendy's pushing in mid, everyone else is the jungle under wraps. Raz now chipping out top lane tier 2, and the response from VP is non-existent. Looks like they're gonna just give Navi a free tier 2.
It's game of momentum, right? This kind of pickup gives Navi a lot of confidence, gets much closer to the next core items. Like, Ditchera can get 3k gold, he can go back for Desolator now if he wants to still, or any sort of damage item, which all of a sudden makes it much scarier, just because you can finish off the supports more quickly, then can turn help with cores, which means that the rest of Navi have spent less time locking it down.
First right now,
okay.
Caught no one. He's gonna pop the Dragon Form, turn around, Dragon Tail onto Timbersaw. He's going to get dropped very low. False Promise though is gonna save him at the tail end of it. We'll be able to back off and get a little bit of juice to return to the fight. General speaking up, is gonna Burrow Strike in onto Io. No one's DKB is going to hold, but where is the PA? They need more damage. They finally catch up to the Weaver, bring him down, Art Style as well. Caught in the AoE, the Batrider is going to fall. They are going to go up towards the north looking for Dendy, but General's going to come in first with the epicenter. Ramsey's going to try to brute force him through, and he will be successful in doing so. Pasha and Ramsey's very weak. Dendy misses the chain though. He's just going to punch the Phantom's ass and get the kill, but he will lose his life immediately afterwards. And VP, they take a 3-for-5 exchange. They lose the PA for first, and they somehow keep the DK alive, so it's one of those fights somehow, but Navi, their Timbersaw doesn't have enough time to stack up reactive armor. The Weaver just got blasted through the AoE. The clumping there from Navi was pretty bad.
I don't even know what's going on anymore, dude. It's like... but yeah, huge victory from VP on the back of a couple of things. Like, even though False Promise once again was on point, really liked Pasha's play there. He was biding his time, he wasn't just rushing in, trying to spread a bio away. He was waiting for the right moment to wait for the Weaver to have his Lincoln's popped, and then comes in with a lasso, locking him down, making sure that he cannot join in and get more damage into the fight. So that was the thing, was when it turned. And then, yeah, just general, finding a bit of modern Pikachu, just coming back in with a Burrow Strike on 2 into the epicenter. Well, this was still fighting under the sentry, so this time around the Sandstorm did not protect him.
And next time Pasha is going to have that gem. I think he just claimed it from Navi. But he has, more importantly than the gem perhaps, this Yule Scepter. And that means that Pasha is going to have Blink, Yules to pop the Lincoln Spear effect, Lasso, Force Staff out, with the gem to make sure that the Shikuchi isn't going to get the Weaver out of there in time. So now Pasha can actually, reliably start fights on the Weaver, and that's big game. If they're able to take the Weaver out first thing, I don't see Navi being able to come back from that engagement, even with, a 5-man Timbersaw combo, 5-man epicenter, whatever. It won't be enough right damage after their bells, so there is potential there for VP, but for Navi, they just have to make sure to not get caught in this even kind of limited AoE of VP. No one was standing still. I think it was Ice Dragon at the time, flashing onto like 3 heroes. You can't let that happen. You gotta separate a little bit more, and that just to some extent involves taking a fight somewhere else, as opposed to the super narrow corridor near the Roche pit. But next fight, it will be Ramsey with a double life, so good luck, Navi.
So Ramsey with double life, no one is about to get his AC, so he's getting more, even more tanky. Phantom Assassin also going for that Abyssal Blade. He's picking up the Vanguard before the Basher even. I don't actually know how long Ramses had that, but anyway, it means he's also quite tanky. And at some point, yeah, you have some burst damage on Timber. but you really need to get it on points, and you really need to make sure that it's enough, and at this point, it might not be here between the Witch Doctor and the Wisp. I mean, Lil has also been on point for the most part here with his links and with his mechanisms and whatnot, just keeping people alive and keeping the fights going.
Speaking of fights going, we're going to have another one brewing up towards the top. There's a little bit more space here for both teams to maneuver, but Ditchera is caught with that Yule Scepter, and oh my god! That's a crit. Did I see 4 digits there? I don't know if I did. They're going to see Saneko. Dragon Tail's going to cancel the TP. Where are you going, Oracle? He's dead also. Ramses and Lil jumps forward looking for someone else. There is no one else here. Just gonna have to settle for, you know, a Weaver kill. Boo-hoo. They're gonna be crying all the way to the bank. That was exactly the purpose of Yule Scepter for the Batrider. Get rid of the Lincoln Spear effect and kill the Weaver. So that second part was very, very easy.
Well, Phantom Assassin Gaming, ladies and gentlemen. Get the crits, pay the bills. I know that line doesn't work, but hey, bear with me. Okay. Yeah, gonna take a tier 2 off of that, and VP just riding the momentum wave again. It's been slashing back and forth, but now it's getting more larger and larger for VP. The gold drop might be past the 3K
Pasha. Caught General. The Flame Break is gonna miss. No damage on him, so we'll have a Blink Dagger soon up, and so won't be able to catch up to the Sand King, but still tier 2 does drop in favor of VP, and more items coming up for them as well.
And this also comes a little bit back to Drafty and how the early game went. And I hate to hop on art style, but I feel like he has not had the effects that Chen wants to as early as they needed it to. Because as mentioned earlier, right, they allowed VP to get their basic amount of items. And now is a point where Chen actually starts falling off. He's about to get his Agnum Scepter. Once he has that, then that timing window will be extended with a little bit. But still holds true, right? Chen is not a late game hero by any means. And it's gonna be more burden here going forward.
Like, what is he looking for as far as Ancients are concerned? The health is very nice, but it's not like VP don't have enough damage with their heroes. So the extra health aura is still not going to be impossible for the Phantom Assassin to overcome. The Frenzy, I think it's called, from the Lizard is pretty good on the Weaver, but only if he's able to survive as well. He's leaning very, very hard in this Lincoln Spear in order to survive. General's going to get in there with the Burrow Strike. Big dagger to the back. But though, jump in for Pasha. Not really willing to commit just yet. The scouting run, I suppose, for the Batrider. But they have a Siege Engine of the DK. Burrow Strike in. Again, plus disarming the DK. They're going to jump in on Sand King and annihilate him first thing. He does have a buyback. But using it right now is kind of dicey. Shen's being chased down by a big bad dragon. Is going to mechanism save himself. Now Dendi is on the front lines as well. False Promise can bail him out of that lasso, so he will be able to get out. BKB is forced out on no one buyback though on the Sand King. VP take a free tower, lose nothing, gain a buyback, and will back off with everyone successfully.
These are the type of fights that Na'Vi are comfortable taking here unless they get a really, really good burst strike from General. But VP with the positioning should never let that happen. The issue is right now that Ditchera has very little space in the fights. Especially with the gem on the Batrider, they're always going to keep an eye on him, and the Lincoln Spear is not enough to protect him at this point. And he takes so long to kill people. It's a good hero if we want to just pick off. We want to take more longer fights and then spread out a little bit more. But with these kind of 5-on-5 choke points fights, it's kind of losing its effectiveness as well.
And like he's getting damage items. MKB is a great one up against PA, sure, but you want to be able to like 2 or 3 shot support on the other ends. Witch Doctor has built up. The IO has a mechanism and a ghost. Dendi, not like this, not again. He's not going to be able to get the extra shell off on himself in time. He will just kill himself instead. But he actually just bought something. Plate mail? Yeah, there's 37 seconds where Dendi does not have a buyback here. Doors are wide open for VP if they have a dragon form, and they do. So that's a huge pickoff for them. They lose the Aegis, but I'm also pretty sure they don't care, since it's going to be a 5v4 anyway. Range Raxes for sure will go down, and it should be melee as well. That is just Pasha getting VP yet another pickoff. I do think that Pasha has been overperforming in the vast majority of VP's games. Always super solid on these Nyx, Batrider, pretty much anything they give him.
Yep. That was Okay, maybe a bit of T-pad, but yeah, without Timbersaw they definitely lack the damage, and with Timbersaw they have a hard time just getting control of it now.
Strike straight into a Dragon Tail, and immediately the Sand King is down. No one's doing so much damage, and a big crit to kill the Oracle. That's like one-shot kill. Golden Gun style, Art Style's dead, and that, can we call that a fight? I don't think you can call that a fight.
It's a bit of a tilt play, to be honest. It seemed like just going up there to the other high grounds was a very low chance of actually working out. But I probably realized that they have a very low chance if you continue